Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Director. Good to see you again. I just want to run through a few things. Some which strike me as surprising. Some are just hypocritical. And I'll ask you some questions at the end, but I did want to deal with a couple of these at the top. The comparison to the Breonna Taylor case struck me as quite surprising. Breonna Taylor was a scenario where no shots were fired at the officers. I think one of the officers actually made a false statement. Well, Breonna Taylor certainly didn't fire any shots at any of the officers. There was the officer who was fired, lied in the affidavit. I think that was found pretty quickly. But in any event, the no-knock issue, I think, is a pretty significant one. And I believe that what's going to happen later today is that there will be a bill offered, the George Floyd Criminal Justice Act, that will help to address one of these issues. So I hear a lot of concern from my Republican colleagues about the no-knock warrant being executed here. I would note that it's pretty routine the way this warrant was executed, but hopefully you all will be willing to support that provision when it's offered today. Mr. Director, did you want to comment on that?
I just wanted to say that, I just wanted to repeat again that because this is an ongoing investigation, I'm not commenting. There are numerous different things that I believe that are out there that may not be shown to be the facts when the investigation happens. So I would just hope that we could all agree to wait till the facts come out and assess those facts, because I hear things that may well not even be correct as a factual matter, as things that members are talking about. So that's one of my hopes here today, is just to try and get the facts out.
Well, that's a fair point, but I'll say this. I know that an officer was shot in the execution. I don't have time, I'm sorry. In the execution of the Malinowski warrant. How is that officer doing?
Thank you for asking. My understanding is that he's recovering, and I can take a lot, and I understand that, but one thing I want to say is at one point during, people are heated, somebody said something about somebody got shot in the toe. When a police officer or an agent is shot at, it's a serious matter. When a police officer or an agent is actually shot, it's a serious matter. And I know that nobody here would try to minimize an officer being shot as not being a serious matter. I just want to make sure, I understand people are heated, and maybe I got a little heated just now, but that's one thing that I just want to make sure that I know we all agree on that.
I appreciate that. And also the funding issue, which Mr. Neguse addressed, with respect to paying for body cameras. I know it was a very expensive thing when we did it in Prince George's County, and it was one of the barriers to getting it done as quickly as we wanted. But I hope that's another one of those where my Republican colleagues, since you've expressed such strong desire and concern about body cameras not being present here, I hope you'll be willing to step up now and provide the additional funding in the ATF budget so they can move forward with that expeditiously. I also wanted to say this too. We had another debate a few minutes ago about whether firearms are the leading cause of death for children, and the issue, I guess, was, do you count infants or 18 or 19-year-olds or whatever? I just want to reiterate, because that's not the first time we've done that one, and my view then and now is that I think it's a ridiculous point to focus on from the standpoint of whether it's first or second is a leading cause of death. Isn't that enough? I mean, why should we be okay with it? Let's say it's the second leading cause of death if you include infants or something. Why would that be okay? Why wouldn't we be concerned and want to try and find ways to bring those numbers down? So, I appreciate the work that you're doing on that front and support the effort. But, we have to find ways to protect our kids from these kinds of gun violence incidents. And with respect to the search warrant affidavit, I wanted to offer that in the record. I ask unanimous consent that that be offered.
No objection.
And also the search warrant return, I want to make sure that's in the record too. So it's clear what was, in addition to an officer being shot, which did not happen in the Breonna Taylor case, the weapons that were recovered, but also the other types of conduct that supported the probable cause finding by the judge in that case and supported the entry. And then the last point I wanted to make too, you know, the execution of a search warrant while the people are in the house in the morning, my experience was that was kind of standard operating procedure. It's actually unusual to do it any other way. And the reason for that is it's safer for the officers to try and catch him by surprise, and also leads to better opportunities to seize weapons. So in this case, there were many, many, many. And because they thought there were 150 weapons in the house, certainly security and protection for the officers would be a prime consideration. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady